That's a little bright still. Let me close this. Don't feel like you're in trouble in school, guys.
I was watching those videos.
We're here. Oh, yeah. Guys, is that still bright? Let's see if we can adjust that a little bit. I might need to hang a curtain up. Oh, this is Chris Jones and Kyle Knight, and we're going to hang a curtain up here before we get started. Oh, this is Chris Jones and Kyle Knight, and we're going to hang a curtain up here. And I got to turn the TV down. But we'll have feedback behind feedback beyond feedback. I look a lot fatter on TV. Let me see. Not everybody carries a curtain readily available. Oh, we just got "Don't Tread on Me" knocked down. You can hook it there. It don't matter how it goes up. I'm just gonna. You guys can say hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sure there's some comments already coming through there. No, I just got it. I didn't think the sun would be that big of a deal. All right, good enough. That helped out a lot. Good. All right, guys. Let's see here. So we got Ugly Ducklings on here. Let's see. Enriched Refuge. The Hive and the Homestead. What's going on, Justin? Joey? Mims's Garden. Mims's Garden is my YouTube hero. She's my sister. Rolling Homestead and Wild Edibles. He's another veteran. Guys, this is going to go a little different today. I know I'm really blurred out, but they're not, so that's good. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. These guys are just going to talk about what went on. Kyle and Chris are both members of Red Platoon, and they just came out with the movie just came out, the Outpost, about the battle at Cop Keating. New book, grab the book. Got a book by Clint Romeshaw, who is their sergeant and platoon sergeant. He released this book. Gosh, this has been a while ago now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2014. But Clint Romeshaw, I'll put that up there so you guys can see it. Mims has got the Amazon list already in there and to the movie as well. But this, they both say this is a much more accurate representation of the battle. Correct, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, if you want to hear some more of their interviews and stuff, Chris, Kyle, and Zach Kopis, they just did a 3-part series over on the Scuttlebutt Show with Max Bloom.
Yeah.
Max Bloom, and did that. Me and Kyle, Kyle's on a lot of the lives anyway. He's Regal T type. He's on there. He got together trying to buy meat off of me from Denison, and I told him just to come up and we learn how to hunt, and he can go kill stuff himself. And then Chris, you're from the Tri-Cities, so yeah, we're both good old Tennessee boys. We're just sitting here having a conversation and stuff with that. So I want you guys to be very active. Dutch Off-Grid Homesteading, he is from over the pond. So out of Alaska, he just moved to Alaska. He's got a homestead going on up there. There's my mother, Carolyn Prevette. Miss ELYN says, "Hi, Daddy. I'm watching. Hi, baby. Love you." Great time. We'll go ahead and do this since we know ELYN's watching and she may not stay over. Kyle, reach underneath that curtain on top of that box, and ELYN bought you guys something. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, we have field manuals. Field manuals for.
Is that one of those waterproof ones?
Yeah, that one's for you, Chris.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And this is these are military Bibles. But
thank you. Appreciate it.
Just a little something for you guys. So ELYN and I went and got those yesterday. Let's see. Fairy Tale Creation says hi. My voice is already going out, guys. I may cry here in a second. I don't know. Mental and Night. Hey, there we go. There's Mom. That's Kyle's mama.
Ugly Duckling. Go away.
Ugly Duckling. is the wife. They just had a baby. Chris just had a new baby on the 4 days ago. I just found that out. I thought we were still waiting for one to come out of the oven. So it's there. Kyle's grandma, C, is watching with family and says hi and bless you. Hey. Wow. So we're going to start this off. It's going to be fun. We're going to get serious. If you got very small children watching, do it with let them watch, but just understand there's probably going to be some pretty strong language at some point in time, because just the way that's just, don't do your best, be yourself, is the way that it's just here. I'm going to say this early. Chris is leading up a deal where they're going to be doing a reunion, and you're going to have one coming up August of next year.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're going to be doing a reunion, and I told them that I was going to help sponsor that, and they're going to be going out to Colorado and doing some stuff. So we're all three going to get together and come up with something that we can do as a raffle, maybe a freedom stick for everything. But that will have to be worked out and done some things. But if you guys, any of you guys would like to help out with their reunion with their guys from Red Platoon and getting those guys together so they can spend time. One of the biggest things that they're proud of, and I know you guys are proud of, is they've had nobody take their life from their platoon since they come back from one of the most intense battles since, God, Vietnam. Yeah. I mean, goodness gracious. Just craziness. So if any of you guys would like to do that, don't do it on a super chat. If you do it on a super chat, they take money and they do stuff of that nature. If you want to do something, do it through PayPal and put in their description, do it friends and family, and put in the description or comments, put Red Platoon. And if that's up to you guys, you don't have to be doing that. But be ready today. We're on there. We're going to get a little off. They're going to talk about the guys that aren't mentioned in the movie. They're going to talk about some of the things that happened there. Tell us some real stories from the battle. Red Thorn, Bushcraft, that is my buddy Ken that I was telling you, Kyle, about all the leather work and stuff. He's subscribed, yeah. So we're going to talk about the battle. We're going to talk about each of these individual men individually a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the guys that are there. So I'm going to kind of scoot back. I'll start the conversation off with a couple of comments and stuff, and we're going to watch the TV. They're going to try to watch comments. I'm going to try to watch comments. We got 31 people on, 23 thumbs up. But before we get into any of that, we're going to read scripture, because that's how we roll here on Single Dad Homestead. So we're going to just chit chat for a few more minutes, look at this live, and at 10 after, we'll go into that deal. No, he's not Air Force. They're both soldiers. He just got some aviator glasses here on his chest and stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't be one of those guys.
Wouldn't be one of those guys. If you guys see behind us, it's somewhat covered up. See both of these freedom sticks here behind Kyle. Kyle actually built the one with the optic. It's sitting closest. I don't know how much you can see him, but he built that, and we ended up doing some trading out on that and stuff, guys. So pretty cool. Simon T is my brother-in-law. Let's see. Julie Gilpin, how are you? Trying to keep Ivan, the Russian handwriting there. Ivan is a good guy. Him and his wife, ELYN, are tag team truck drivers from Russia, Russia and someplace else. Anyway, he's a tech wizard. I mean, like, if you have an issue, he's the guy that's like getting into NASA and stuff. I didn't tell any secrets there, Ivan. I'm sorry. If there was really a Russian conspiracy, it happened through Ivan. Ivan and them are going to be here in September, so we'll have to have you guys up and we'll eat some good food and stuff at that time and have some fun. But they're coming in at 30. I think Ivan's 35 and Elena is around the same age. They're retiring from trucking. They've come over. They've lived in their truck since they've gotten here. Cross-trunk, big. Now, once again, it's a condo truck. Right. But they've lived in their truck and stuff. They just retired. They're looking for their homestead and stuff. So they're going to be traveling around and getting some places up. This Russian dude, I'll tell you a funny story. We're at the Shindig in Arkansas at an event convention. And we're sitting there. And the first time Ivan ever did, it was more of a language barrier, I think, and me not being able to type and stuff. And this is a good story for all y'all that are new here. So we'll go into it, and then we'll come back to these guys so we can read scripture. This Russian guy walks up to the table, and I've got an SF guy sitting here. I've got Nathan from Samson Farm, who is about a foot taller than you, standing behind me, who's an Army guy. And we're all sitting here talking, and this Russian guy comes up, and, he's talking a real thick accent, and then he turns to his wife, and he's saying something, and I'm kind of like, what's going on here? And he tells her that he's going to get something from the truck, and then he'll be back in a few minutes. Well, I knew who Ivan was, kind of, but I didn't know Ivan. Well, as he turns around and walks away, the SF guy looks over and he goes, I'm ready and I got my stuff. Are you ready? He said, because this guy's going to get something out of his truck. So Nathan posts up on one side, this SF guy posts up over here, and I'm here. And we're all armed. And we're thinking Ivan's coming back in to shoot this place up. And he comes back in and he hands me a $500 Canon camera because I dropped my camera in the bottom of the river fishing. So God works in good ways. He came in, and Ivan is an absolutely wonderful man, and so is his wife. But it was just funny how military minds go to the worst case scenario. Let's take position and handle out what we need to do. So it's pretty good. North Star Prepsteader, another amazing individual. Old Ridge Farms. You're going to see a lot of homesteading communities in here. So Bonnie, I'll show you some art she did for me. It's in the other room. Old Redding Farm. All right. I salute all our military personnel. Lots of veterans in my family. Awesome. By the way, I was packing back then too. Yeah, but you were way outgunned, Ivan. Trust me, you were outgunned that day. Maybe not on another day, but that day you were definitely outgunned. TJ Miller, how are you? Got to say hi to everybody. I'm going to miss most of you guys today. We got 38 on, 29 thumbs up. I'm hoping that we get a bunch more people in here in just a little bit. And we'll roll. I don't care how many people come on. We're still going to roll with this and have some fun. So, Sean of Alaska, I think I already said hello to you. Some scripture real quick. I'm going to start earlier so we can get into doing this because you guys didn't run my mouth. You guys do that on Wednesday. Hand me that Bible. We bought them the military Bibles. Me and ELYN were talking about it. Something for these guys. And in the military, you have your field manuals. They're everything that is from, how to tear your gun down to nomenclature on night vision goggles, how to run tactics, how to do this stuff. Well, these two guys have already know all that. They've already found that battle. Chris, one of the first words and conversations we had in here was love for Jesus Christ. And Kyle's a great man too, and I know he's there. So these are the best field manuals that we can have now, because the battles we've got coming are going to take a little bit more than just being able to do this and having the heart to do it too. So we've got some stuff coming down the pipe, and it's good to go. So we wanted to give them those. I'm sure both of them already have one, but that one can go in their bug out bags or whatever they want to carry, and they can have it with them forever. So let me get my stuff all organized. You put that back there behind you again, Kyle, if you don't mind. I chose scripture today based off of what these men have been through. And we're going to read Nehemiah chapter 4 today. And it's a little bit long, but when I read it, you'll understand why I'm reading it. I'm going to read the whole chapter because this part of the story is something that's there, and it goes hand in hand with what these men went through. So, when Sanballat heard that they were rebuilding the wall, they became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews, and in the presence of you guys know me, I can't read hardly. Assessors and the army of Samara, he said, "What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifice? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back from life from those heaps of rubble, burned as they are?" Tobiah, the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What they are building, even a fox can climb onto it, would break down the wall of stone. Hear us, our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads. Give them over a plunder in the land of give them over in the land of captivity. Do not cover up their guilt, or blot out their sins from your sight, for they have thrown insult in the face of the builder. So we rebuild the wall till all of it is reached, half its height. For the people worked with all their heart. But when Sandoval, Tabai, I can't read these names, guys, the Arab, the Ammonite, and the people of Ashdod heard that the repairs to Jerusalem's walls had gone ahead and that the gaps were being closed, they were very angry. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. But we prayed to our God and posted a guard day and night to meet their threats. Meanwhile, the people of Judah said, the strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall. Also, our enemies said, before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them and will kill them and put an end to the work. Then the Jews who lived near them came and told us 10 times over, wherever you turn, they will attack us. Therefore, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. After I looked these things over, I stood up and said to the nobles and the officials and the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and homes. When our enemies heard that we were aware of their plot, and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to our own work. On, half of the men did the work, while the other half were equipped with spears, shields, and bows, and armor. The officers posted themselves behind all the people of Judah who were building the wall. Those who carried materials did their work with one hand and held a weapon in the other. And each of the builders wore his sword at his side as he worked. But the man who sounded the trumpet stayed with them. Then I said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the people, the work is extensive and spread out, and we are widely spread from each other along the wall. Whenever you hear the sound of the trumpet, join us there. Our God, our God will fight for us. So he continued the work with half the men holding spears from the first light of dawn till the stars came out. At that time, I also said to the people, have every man and his helper stay inside Jerusalem at night, so they can serve us as guards by night and workers by day. Neither I nor my brother nor my men nor the guards with me took off our clothes. Each had his weapon, even when he went for water. All right, guys. For you guys that are new here, I have severe dyslexia. That was broken up, but I think you get the point. Those people in that story from the Bible, were in the same position that we were. They were in a position that was undefendable. It was in a bowl. There's no walls. There's no real cover. There's no anything. And everybody at the higher levels knew this. Everybody from the higher levels left them there to do what they did. And what won that and brought them through was the brotherhood that they had with each other. 52 men in the base against 500 Taliban. From the conversations we just had a few moments ago, not all 52 were fighting. Not all 52 were capable of fighting in some cases. With what's going on, some people owe some other people some cigarettes, from what I understand. But you all know that if you're watching. But we have to understand that God's with us in everything that we do. God was with these men on October 3rd. He was there fighting alongside of them. Elbows and a-holes, what we used to say in the military. But look, these guys are exactly what this country is supposed to be. That is what our Constitution gives us the right as free men to defend it, foreign and domestic. These guys were put in the worst case scenario, and they came out on top. So thank you. That's all I can do is say thank you and offer what I can here in my home and to break bread with these guys. So that's why I chose the scripture that we read today. Go back and read it yourself, and you will get a clearer understanding of what was going on that day. These guys were doing whatever they could do to get cover and to give cover to different positions and places where they were. I'm gonna start with Kyle. Kyle, you most of the battle stayed in one position, right? Wait a minute, and this is just a joke. Drinking Gatorade and smoking cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
He said in another interview that who was it that kept bringing you a continual supply? Avalos was bringing him a continual supply of Gatorade and cigarettes, and that's what kept him in the fight. So it was an inside joke. I told you.
I had dip pouches in the top and bottom, and just changed the whole time.
Bullets flying by. But now, where were you? Let's hand me that book back here real quick, because it's got a nice map in the front of it.
And a quick Google image search, you can bring up all sorts of overhead.
Oh, yeah, actual satellite images. So where were you at? And then I'll show them.
I went from, okay, so platoon barracks. I came out this way, and that's when Kirk got hit. Came back for a stretcher, went back 3 or 4 times, and then went. So
this is where it is, guys. The way this map sits out, let me show you. This is a big bowl. This is all sheer face mountains. And if you ever look at pictures of Afghanistan, Afghanistan is like the Rocky Mountains, but straight up and down with no trees whatsoever, hardly. Beautiful place. Yeah. You guys said, I think in one interview, they all said that it could be like a ski resort. But what he just said and what pointed out to me is he left from the Red Barracks here. He came out and around, came to the tower. This is which Kirk was shot, and he went to came back to get a stretcher, went back, and then ended up doing that trip 3 or 4 times. And then you pretty well held that position.
I moved to the other side of the barracks here.
Yep.
And engaged on the putting green and the.
So he was here and taken this way. When you guys watch the movie, if you watch the movie, they talk about the putting green. You guys talk about what were the other? You guys had some great names for them. North Face, diving board, switchback. So go on, watch the movie, guys. They said the book is a lot better and more accurate, but the movie was a pretty damn good movie. Excuse my language. But okay, so you went back and forth. So kind of give me an overview of what you had, and then you don't have to go into any huge detail if you don't want to, but just kind of where did you start out? Where you were in the barracks?
I was in my bunk playing Civilization 4 when they started hitting off, and Kirk pulls the curtain back, and you could tell just from the volume of incoming that they wasn't your normal tick.
They were getting hit 3 to 4 times a week, guys, on average, right?
I mean, we were used to getting jumped in the morning.
Right.
But he pulls the curtain back and tells me to grab the AT-4, which was the rocket launcher. I'm like, okay. So I grab it, and I think Greg was with me on that one. We pushed out, and that's when Kirk got hit. Went back for a stretcher. I think Dave got it too at first. And when you ran, you could see the bullets hitting the Heskos and stuff, but at least you had cover from the putting green and North Face. So I ran, came back. The head medic was there with the stretcher. I did the litter team back with him. Then I got to the barracks, and there was a 240 sitting on the ground. Nobody was using it. So threw my M4 away, grabbed the machine gun, set it up on the floor, and then pushed out to the smoke shack. That's when his element pushed out to retake the base, and then I went behind Red Platoon barracks and was shooting at the switchbacks and the diving board, and pretty much covering Copus while he was reloading from that side. And I just slowly pushed out throughout the day as the places burned. I just kept pushing out toward the outer perimeter by the A&A side, and that's where I ended up when it all ended.
There's a lot more in between all that.
Right, that's 8 hours of 8 or 9 hours
of continual fighting. The battle actually, the main battle lasted almost 15 hours, correct?
Yeah, it went up to sundown. They didn't stop until it was dark.
Yeah, and you got to understand there was about an hour into it, there was no comms really between anybody, correct?
Yeah.
So you guys had comms through the
all we had
fire.
Was SATCOM.
Yeah, which
Bostic.
SATCOM through Bostic is basically, guys, where you're calling in fire, your command's talking back to the higher ups that are outside, asking for fire support, asking for air support, asking to send the SF guys in and things of that nature to get back. But you got to understand, these guys were so remote that it was before they thought they could get anybody to you, it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
By the time KORF was coming down the mountain or to the base, it was the sun was going down.
Yeah. So I mean, this happened at 5 something in the morning, like 5:40 in the morning. Yeah, and it's dark before anybody's really getting there. So it just amazing on the way that happens. And we're going to get them to talk about the guys in a minute. I just want to get each of their stories up front so you understand where these guys were at. So Chris, where were you at when everything snapped off and got going?
Well, I was asleep. I just got off guard maybe like 6 or 4 hours before that. So I was trying to get some shut eye. And I woke up and the first thing I did was look at lunch, and I think it was like 5:58 or 6 a.m. And Sergeant Kirk looked at me and asked me what time it was, and I told him. And I looked at the board and I see I'm supposed to go to, was it LRAS 1 with Copus? Or was that?
Was that your station? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I was supposed to go there with Danley, and we got a machine gun, a bunch of ammo, and we went to Copus, LRAS 1, I believe it was. And Copus was in that position all day. He held that position all day. And then once I got out there, I was trying to help him reload. When he would talk, we had a machine gun out there. We would talk machine guns.
When you talk about talking machine gun, I'm a 0331 machine gunner. What happens is you're firing, pop, 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 and then the guy from across the way would be pop, 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 pop. And that gave you time to let your weapon cool, gives you time to reload, gives you time to find and keep your head on a swivel and identify the other targets. The problem is with these guys, they didn't have to identify targets because there was targets everywhere they looked.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to butt in.
Yeah. But from there, let's see, I was just all over the place that day, honestly. I really was. And Ronchet came up to us. We were at that position with Copus for a while. And Ronchet came up to us and he was wounded. And he told me to go to Greg. And that was the first and the second time I got blown up heading to Greg, try to help him reinforce that position.
They thought Chris died like 17 different times during this battle because everybody he showed up to, he got blowed up at. Just to let y'all know what Mr. Chris here went through.
They were like,
we laugh about it now, but that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, so many times I don't remember all of them. And when other people tell you about getting blown, you're like, that happened. And they're like,
I kind of felt that one.
I was like, man, I guess that was. But I just got right back up, and I went to Greg, and I was in that trench with him. And what we were basically the last defense between the guys cut off on the other side of the cop. And I started running out of ammo. People would come to the trench and leave the trench. Finally, that's where we seen them. We had no communication whatsoever. We started engaging them on the cop from there, and they seen that we were there. Plus, when we were there anyways, we had snipers already on us, machine gunners, RPGs, and stuff like that. The building behind us was a mosque, and it caught on fire, and it was burning. Yeah, it was burning behind us, and the generator started getting hit, and they were throwing grenades, like distance of throwing hand grenades at us. It blew up the generator enough to get smoke, so it provided concealment for us. Yeah. And we got out of there, and we went back to the Red Platoon barracks to consolidate and regroup. And from there, we established a little team to take back the cop and try to find the guys that were either KIA or MIA at that time. And our main job at that point was getting the ammo supply point back, was because we don't have ammo. Like when I was in the trench, I ran out of ammo. You're useless. And we were on that team, and I pushed there, and right at the ASP, I sat up there, and I was there for most part of the day. I had pretty good coverage. I could see up the river, up the valley, to the village next to us, the police station, the mayor's house right above us in the village. There was a big old house, but they would exfil. They were using that for cover from us. They were just all over the place, and I had a blind spot. I got hit there a couple of times. I've been shot in the head a few times, not in my head, but my helmet.
Right.
It
explains a lot.
Yeah. It'd be like, but you're still alive. How are you still alive? But
Kevlar is an amazing.
It is
amazing stuff.
It works. I'll just say that. And from there, later that day, I got sent back to the ECP to try and I cover fired for the guys getting the KIAs and the guys stuck in the trucks. And then I went to the ECP, and we that's where I think Larson and Romache and I we guarded there, engaged a few enemy, and also we barricaded the entrance. Like we put C-wire up, we threw grenades down there, and I mean, and like you were saying with him, there's just so much in there. But
and I'm going to cherry pick some little things that I know from watching interviews, watching the movie, and then talking to these guys too. One of the things I'll cherry pick is he left out a very important part when Clint Romashaw came up and said, "Hey guys, we're going to go take this," in his exact words, if I'm not mistaken, "this bitch back." Mm-hmm. He asked for volunteers, and 5 men raised their hand, and that's one of them. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing you left out there, brother.
Well, I said the team, the small team.
It is a team effort, guys. But I just wanted to take a few minutes to shine the light on these two, because now they're going to shine the light and tell us some stories about the other guys. If you want to know when they're talking about the LRAS and the things of this nature in different places, go watch the movie. It tells the main part of the battle. It talks about Clint Romashaw. It talks about Mace. It talks about the 7 guys that died there on that day, and then Mace ended up passing away when they tried to do surgery after they got him out. But they saved Mace. They got him out. He got to at least say, "Hey, you all are assholes," one more time, because from what I understand from the stories you have, that's probably the comment that came out. Oh, yeah. Mace was the jokester, and the guy that. You would think he hated you, but he loved everybody so much. So is that a correct statement right there? Yeah. So, but that's where it is. And I think one of your biggest thing is not only to honor those 8 men, but to talk about those guys and all the heroic acts of not necessarily Clint and Ty and all those other guys that got the big honor, that got that Medal of Honor, but they were all, you were telling me you guys got the unit
Valorous Unit Award.
Valorous Unit Award, which is basically a silver star, right? Across the entire platoon. So the company. So all of them got they all have their own stories. Each one of you have your own heroic acts that you did that day in defense of your brothers and for your country. So that's where I kind of want to let it go now. I want to just start kind of bouncing you both off of each other and kind of push that way. But who do you think, Kyle, from what you witnessed and you personally on what you were doing, who do you just the first person of just the crazy stuff that they did that most men aren't going to do?
Hart basically volunteered for a suicide mission.
Hart?
Yeah. The NCO told me, "We're not going to tell you to go out and do that," because he's going to take Davidson with him. I'm like, no, because Davidson was like the little kid,
right?
Like, you're not taking Davidson out there. So yeah, he basically went and he knew he wasn't coming back.
Yeah, these guys do the whole thing. Clint Romashaw was walking up to you guys, from what I understand, and saying, "We're going to die today, guys." So yeah. you guys think that we're making fun, but when you're military and you've been in that situation, you just, like they say, you embrace the suck. You understand where you're at, and guess what? If you're going out today, I'm going out, taking out some of them with me. So that's where we're at. We're not making fun of the situation. We just understand where we're at. These guys more so. I say these guys more so than anybody else. But Chris, tell them thank you for their service and keeping our freedom. I will, Mark. They just heard it. So
No problem.
with Hart. So what was the mission that Hart and them were going?
He got a team together. It was Faulkner, Griffin.
That was it.
Hart. I thought there was 4 guys in the truck.
No, I'm pretty sure. 3 of them.
They were going to take the stand to.
Yeah, one guy went with them and take ammo with them, I think.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
They were going to take stand to truck 1 and try to go up there and park it up next to LRS2. So they had another, because the crew serve at LRS2 was out of commission, right? The 50 cal. So they would have been able to get a heavy weapon. I think there was another.
If I'm not mistaken from the movie, if it predicted it correct, they took a direct hit straight to the side plate of that 50 cal. And if you know where the charging handle comes, and that's not actually part of the movie that they actually went into detail. It's just from the depiction of what they showed. If that's anything correct, it just disabled the weapon. So they're basically just sitting in there with small arms at that point in time.
Yeah, Larson shooting people from the turret.
Yeah. So they ran out there to do that. And if I'm not mistaken, also from watching some of the other interviews, both of those vehicles hadn't been started in what? 2-3 years?
Oh, yeah.
So these vehicles have been sitting, and all they are is basically a nest for these guys to go in, sit, have some cover. If you don't know the difference between cover and concealment is hiding you. Cover is protecting you. So, I can go stand behind a bush and be concealed, but when I want to be covered, I need to be around a hardened structure that bullets aren't going to penetrate. And a normal vehicle, although it is some cover, it's not true cover, because with most of what we have today, we can penetrate a car pretty easy unless you're in front of the wheel well of the engine.
They were 1151s. They were the up armored.
Yeah.
They did an admirable job of protecting the guys.
You can go on and see some of the actual pictures from the
Google
cop.
the pictures.
And there's just bullet rounds from these Dragonoffs and stuff that they have. At one point in time, behind Copus, I think it was, reading one of the stories that was there and some of the other research that I did before, Clint Romeshaw, who is one of the Medal of Honor winners, comes up behind, and he was kind of like the spearhead of all these guys and the motivator, doing what a sergeant, what a platoon sergeant's supposed to do. But he comes up behind him. I wanted to get back to something that Copus said on the interview you guys did with the Scuttlebutt. But he comes up behind him. Zach Copus is sitting there just laying down fire with this Mark 19, which is a grenade launcher, and he's laying down fire, and he's just getting shot at by a stinking sniper. And there's a Afghani individual that was supposed to be called a soldier that was running, and Clint rips this Dragonoff sniper rifle away from him and says, "Give me that," and walks up behind Copus and actually engages and kills one of the snipers that was on the hill laying fire on this Mark 19, which that Mark 19 and Zach being on that, Copus being on that, was a very big part of the whole battle, wasn't it? Because he stayed there for 12, 13 hours, literally raining down. If you guys, when you're a machine gunner in the Marine Corps, you're trained on the Mark 19, the 50 cal, and at my time was the 60, which is the 240 now. Those 3 weapons. The Mark 19 is just, out of the 3 is slowest, but it's throwing out an actual 203.
It's got more powder charge behind it.
Yeah, it's a grenade that launches out at distance. It's timed and does stuff like this. But so he's there and he does that. One of the things that's funny is Zach Copus was explaining on the interview that he had put so much ammo through this Mark 19 that he kicked the door open because it was still in good cover and was kicking out the belt links. And the belt links on a Mark 19 are about that big around.
The shell casings are like soda cans.
Yeah. And he's kicking these out. And he said once he was to a point where he could get out of that vehicle and he no longer had to man that Mark 19, that it was like a pile that was up to his ankles or deeper of these links of this Mark. And that doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody unless you've ever ran a Mark 19 and understand how many rounds. And I guess that he had loaded, and they got him loaded up quick, is why he got to hold that position, if I'm not mistaken, with ammo.
So the truck was stocked. Every conceivable storage area in the truck was full, and he ran out of ammo twice.
Yeah, I mean, so that was great forethought. They did a walk, just to step back a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. Were either of you on the patrol when you guys walked and Clint said, "Look, we're just fishing a bucket, and this is, we're done. When they come, we're done," basically, because it shows in the movie, it talks about you doing that, and he looks down and just basically says, exactly what was going to happen.
We
You knew it well before that. Like the minute the sun came out, the first day you were there.
Roche took me around the cop when we first got there. I mean, like, we were all separated, and he took me, and he's like, the whole time, he's like, we're screwed. Like, this is just, the same thing you said when we met. It's like, I don't understand why someone would put that there.
Guys, if you have any tactical information, if you play chess, if you play checkers, if you play tag with your kids, you have more common sense than what this outpost did. And it's nothing to these guys. These guys did what they did. The upper echelon of people that were there, in my opinion, all of them should be tried. I mean, because they literally took American lives and they knowingly stuck these men in a position that's undefendable in anywhere. And what saved these guys was the brotherhood that they have and that they're talking about today, and the ability that they had to run and gun. And I say this all the time, and I've talked about writing a book about it, and I will, and hopefully can help these guys give me some input and stuff from this. But when you have these guys, I call it the heart of survival, because it's not just this toolbox. I tell you guys all the time, you have to have the tools up here. These men were trained with the tools. The sergeants and the people that are there, the specialist and the privates, the ranking as a soldier is a lot different than the Marine Corps. So I did all of that wrong. But anyway, as you go up, you mentor each other. You take each other under your wings and you teach each other. The guys that have been on the COP for longer, they take you and walk you around, like Chris was saying that Romesha did, where he walked him through and he said, look, we're done, we're screwed. But I bet he also said, but if you need to, here's this hidey hole, here's this hidey hole,
absolutely.
Here's where you need to go. You can tactically take this position, you can do this. But when you're so tactically at a disadvantage that these guys were in, because you're literally sitting in a bowl. Go pull up the satellite images, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, they would not let trucks come in to supply these guys, because the road itself was so dangerous. I'm kind of pulling out here and jumping in.
Yeah.
It's just, it's understanding where it's at. If you've not seen the movie, the air hog could have changed this whole fight. The air hog did come in, did it not?
We had on break down the air support about 45 minutes in, fast movers, 2 F-15 Strike Eagles, and then was it a little over an hour and a half ish? Comes on station.
Yeah.
We get a couple of Apaches. They had anti-aircraft guns, Dushkas, and ZPUs.
So they were holding them down, and they were holding them down through sniper fire and using anti-aircraft guns and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
They were keeping these aircraft at bay. This was all planned. You guys knew it was coming. The upper echelon knew this was coming. That's why I say these guys that were way up at the top, once you went below, what was Captain's name that got killed in the truck?
Lieutenant Bostic.
Was it Lieutenant Bostic that went over the side when you guys were trying to deliver?
Oh, Ben Keating.
Ben Keating.
Yeah.
When you got above that level of upper echelon, in my opinion, is where everything went to shit. Because the lieutenants seemed like they were pretty stand-up guys that stepped up and started doing their job somewhat and getting you where you needed to be.
Captain Porter literally refused to allow us to build up the base.
Well, that's a different story. Captain Porter came after.
No, Portis. Portis replaced Porter.
Oh, okay.
No more Porter. He was the guy who would leave the piss bottles everywhere. He would go to sleep and pull a Kevlar blanket up over him. He had sandbags in his room around his bunk. I'm not sure.
This is the individual leading this. And then if I'm not mistaken, this is not from these guys. This is from reading reports and talking and watching other interviews. Did he not go back after the battle and start talking shit about Red Platoon and stuff that you guys were? I know he got kicked out because he wasn't.
No, he didn't get promoted. He got
kicked out of Kiev. He got out.
Well, he was getting his major, so he was.
We'll promote you for bad behavior. But anyway,
no, he was coming up for it already before we deployed. Anyway. He knew it was his last combat deployment.
Right.
He just didn't want to.
Didn't want to get smoked.
He was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is not being disrespectful. This is not being disrespectful, guys. Because the simple fact is, if it's your last deployment or your first deployment, your men are your responsibility. And when you don't give your men the ability to do what they need to do, you're not worth salt. And for these individuals to have left the post open and left this COP open as long as they did, they have to take 100% responsibility for that part of it and the loss. And I don't think anything happened really, did I think some people got reprimanded. But
There's a
nothing-
reprimand
yeah.
for Porter, Lasco, and Brigade Colonel.
Yeah, I mean it's just a
Colonel
shit
George is now at the general of First Corps or something now. He's like a 3-4
Yeah,
star.
but let's
No,
promote
3-star.
somebody that doesn't know tactical situations enough to get them out of a hole. Where we're at. But anyway, I'm going into my personal opinions, and that's not where we should be going with this. So, Chris, who in your mind that's not in the movie? Because I know you respect those guys, and those guys mean a lot. But those what's the main story that jumps out of you of the guys that like didn't make the movie, didn't make the book, that aren't talked about? Tell me about some of that heroism of those other people that you're mentioned a lot and guys in every interview that Clint Romashaw talks about. That man right there's name is up and in front of, like, within 30 seconds. Chris Jones is talked about, and that's a pat on the back. That's just giving him credit where credit's due. But tell me a couple of stories about the bravery and the things that these men were doing that aren't mentioned. The guys that need to be mentioned that aren't as much. So many.
Oh man, I guess the first one I'd have to say is Justin Gregory.
Justin Gregory.
Yeah, he was a specialist. Where's he from? Minnesota, I believe. Just a good guy. He's kind of a country guy. He likes to fish. I went fishing with him a few times.
What's country? No.
Yeah. But he was a good guy, man. And when I got to that trench, I mean, he pulled me down. And if he didn't pull me down, I might not be.
Took another round to the head.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And when we were in the trench, Greg and I, we were the trench edge was like right here.
Gregory, personally, he was in my youth group.
Who's that? Who was that?
Did he always go, come on, guys? And he's like shrimpy little dude. Is that who you're talking about?
That's North Star Prepstetter is one of the main moderators too. So anyway, continue. So she's from Minnesota.
I was in that trench with Greg. I couldn't tell you, just there were points where we were like I said, we had no communication. Greg and I are like, I think I don't know if everyone's dead or not, and we would pop up and engage. We popped up and engaged the enemy and cover fired for Hart and those guys. And then we also cover fired for the guys that were running ammunition to Hart, and they turn around immediately. And we ran out of ammo. I mean, and we just had no one like I was saying in the other interview, it's just chaos, man. There's no communication. And
right. You got no communication. Yeah. You've got no way to defend yourself except for these two hands.
Yeah.
You're stuck in a bad situation in a bowl in Afghanistan, and you don't know if your other brothers are alive, because at this point in time, if I'm not mistaken, the only person that really had a gun running hard was Romashaw. He had the machine gun, right?
Yeah.
So he was drawing like most of the fire because nobody else was really firing at the time.
Oh, toward the switchbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you got to understand, you got 500 enemy around you guys, and you're sitting here and you're got a small grab, and that's where they made a mistake, where the Taliban made a mistake, because honestly, and I think you guys would agree, it was an amazing planned attack. I mean, tactically was ingenious, because they knew what they were doing. They came in. They didn't come in with 10 or 15 guys. They came in over months and months and months, and pop shot to watch the way these guys were going to do. And Romashaw was smart enough to say, hey, guys, look, we're not going to respond if there's one or two shots. We're not going to respond if we got a little brrr, go on. Let's not respond in the same manner that we would really do, because they're patterning us in. And when it broke out, that's how they killed. They killed. He just left the barracks. As soon as Scusa. I mean, they knew right where he was going to be. They were trained on these guys. As soon as they left. Wait a minute. It was Dustin Gregory. Maybe a dozen. Dustin Gregory. Nope.
It's Justin.
Not these guys. Not the same guy. So you're just in a bad situation where you're out there. How long was it before you got more ammo back to you?
I never got ammo.
Oh, you never got ammo?
No, I had 20 rounds left, and I saved them just in case they came up on me.
Let's go.
Yeah, and we were in that trench, and it it wasn't long after us, we stalled out where we were running out of ammo that we moved. So it wasn't too long, but some people, say the names, they would come to the trench. They knew we needed ammo. They believed, and they come back and never brought us ammo, and it was just, man, man, that trench was just crazy. It was a crazy experience, and it was hard. That was a hard position to try and hold.
Right.
It really was. And then we got all their attention, like I was saying, and they're throwing grenades and RPGs and all types of stuff at us in this trench. And what I was saying earlier is like our heads are popping out like this much. They're shooting the back of my head.
And it's just skipping.
It's just skipping off,
That's why when you see this guy, from what I understand, had a little thing where he would wave and make his head bobble with his loose head. Da, 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 and that's just a funny John Wayne kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the Kevlar, they're uncomfortable. They're crazy to wear. They're hot. But how many times?
Oh, it saved my life. There was one point when I was at the ASP. I won't go into detail about what happened, but the guy came right up on us and he shot. The bullet hit me. I mean, probably 10 feet away from him.
Right.
AK ran just right there. It went in through somebody's arm and hit me, but it hit me in the head. And I just remember it was like a sledgehammer, and I was just like trying to come to, and it split my Kevlar band in two. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. These guys, in one of the situations, Chris, you guys had people literally that were throwing grenades, but the grenades were so old from the Russian time period.
Yeah.
And the Russians
They were
they were lobbing them in and not exploding. These guys were literally within distance of just going like this. And yeah,
and I threw grenades at them, and it was just.
Yeah, I think you say in one of the things you went through what Clint brought you 3 boxes of grenades.
3 cases full of grenades. I threw every
That's
single one.
24 grenades per case, if I'm not mistaken. If it's the wood crate.
No, it was big ammo crates, and they took the grenades and just threw them in there. And I'll tell you this: don't ever take your grenades. Don't ever take them.
If you ever have your grenades.
The American grenade has not only the pin, but it's also got a little safety catch.
Yeah.
And to mess with the Afghans when you're pulling guard with them, you leave the safety catch and you just pull the pin and go, oh! in front of them. It's hilarious. They'll dive out of the tower.
Yeah, they will.
Soldiers.
Yeah.
Let's just play with a live grenade. It doesn't matter. Hey.
One of my buddies lost it. He pulled it. He's like, oh, where'd it go?
That would have not been a good day. I think we would have been rolling in the dirt after that joke happened. But yeah, so I mean, and there's a million more stories. And I mean, I want you guys to tell me more, not necessarily about where you guys were at, about other heroic things that you saw your other brothers and stuff doing. Because like I said, these guys don't want credit for what they did. They deserve all the credit in the world, and I'm pushing credit to both of them. And I keep talking about Chris, but Kyle, just the same, the stories that I've heard about where he was at. He kind of, for lack of better words, got luckier than some others because he got a position, not luckier, but he got a position where he was holding position.
Yeah, I had a camo net over me.
Yeah.
So I just sat there in the shade the whole day just machine gunning because I knew where I would have to aim the gun. I didn't have like direct line of sight. I just sprayed area effect.
Cover fire. Yeah, throwing them down.
I had a pretty nice spot.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's not taking anything away, but for a excuse my language, guys, a shit storm, you were outside the main swirl on that part of it.
Yeah, I was on
where you were.
I was on easy mode.
Yeah. Which none of it was easy. But what I'm saying is everybody that was there that was fighting, and I'll say that for you guys, that was fighting was in the fight. There was nobody that was up, and that's basically every person in Red Platoon, from what I understand, was there. And
everybody.
And this is not just from them guys. This is from watching other stuff.
My boss Avalos went out without a weapon to go get Gallegos' body, and I started shooting at him, and he pulled Gallegos' body up from himself as a sandbag to take out incoming rounds.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
We had a lot of guys go out without weapons to go pick up wounded and dead guys.
You got to understand the reason that they were doing this, guys, is they knew if the Afghanis got a hold of them, they were going to use this as political. That no telling what they're going to do to the bodies, what they're going to do to your brothers, and that was not going to happen. This was now at this point in time was not about the base. This was about preserving their lives and the integrity of those guys that have fallen and that were there in that group. Cerveo says blessings to you guys. These guys were. You get to a point of like Romashaw saying through the whole. We're done, guys. We're dead today. You know, this is it. You get to that point, and the reason you do that as a leader, as someone that's in that position, is if I can pull you to that level, a lot of times most people will rise above it and they'll take on that role that both of you men did and the rest of your platoon did. And Romashaw knew that. Romashaw knew the character of each individual in his platoon. And he knew what it was going to take to get each one of these guys to do what they needed to do. And Clint, if you're actually back here in the background or you ever watch this, thank you. But, you know,
he was only acting platoon sergeant too. The actual platoon sergeant was on leave. He was the section. Alpha, Bravo section.
Alpha.
So I mean, but it's still known. He still knew you guys. I mean, you're talking about this guy comes up and says, "Hey, Chris, let's go for a walk. We're going to walk around the Cop. I'm going to show you this stuff around." And that's the difference between, I say it all the time, a teacher and a talker. You have guys that'll talk and, like you said, sit and piss in a bottle and have you go throw it in the thing as a leader and pull a Kevlar blanket up over him overnight because you want to get taken out later. I don't care how much of a warrior you were before that point. When you did that, it destroys everything else and all your legacy afterward. When you get to that
He was a turd bird.
Well, turd bird.
But as far as NCOs, remember we had Kirk, which if you were being aggressive, Kirk likes you. You know, he was just.
Well, I think
as long as you,
I think that was Red Platoon motto.
Yeah, well, he was the.
You couldn't hate. He was the most.
He would. We were in a firefight one time, and he was on the roof of a building and ran and jumped down onto the Humvee, like shooting grenades and stuff. Like he was just a wild man. It was hilarious. And Gallegos was really good NCO. Pretty much all the guys who died were ours.
Well, because they were the first ones there. They weren't going to send you to do something they weren't going to go do.
Right.
That's why you guys went and did what you did.
Yeah,
is because how can you do any less than those individuals that are leading you into that situation? How can you let the brother stand to your left or your right? We talked about that. Being from Tennessee, being a volunteer, that's why we got the name we were. That's the way we were raised here. And that's not saying that's not the way college was. But if you're a Tennessean and you join the military, I keep busting on you, David. I don't mean it. I don't mean it that way. But when you're born in Tennessee, it doesn't matter what uniform you throw on your back when you go. When you say that oath and you raise your hand to defend this country. I don't know. There's a couple of pretty good Air Force guys. I got a cousin who married a pretty good one, but he's a cavalry sniper too, so he never really worked with the Air Force guys. He was always out with soldiers and Marines. So, if you put a uniform on, you deserve all my respect in the world, and you get it. But these guys even more so. Yeah. I mean, if you go read the story, go read Red Platoon, and then you'll understand where it is, and you come back and you watch this. And you listen to these two gentlemen being as humble as they are and talking about what's going on. And you'll understand more of I'm honored that they're in my home today. So
what are we doing now? Nothing.
They're being dads.
Yeah.
They're being dad. Kyle's like me. He's a dad. He's a hustler. We like to trade and do and have fun on stuff. And Chris, I think, is somewhat on the same role, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Having
How many
fun.
SKSs do you have?
Oh man, too many.
Anybody need an SKS in Northeast Tennessee?
I saw those games.
But you know why?
They work.
Because you saw the effectiveness when they were used against you, and that's why when Kyle said he had this AR platform, it's in 7.62 but 39, which is the AK round. When you combine those two weapons together. I mean, you really do. If they could figure out how to get that thing to fire steel case ammo, if you can figure that part out of it, it'd be a perfect battle rifle. But you can't beat the SKS and the AK. All right, guys, I'm gonna break from them telling stories for a second, and I want you guys to ask a question. Yo, bro, CCTSW is Air Force. Don't forget, bro.
Huh?
Him? CCTSW.
Who's that?
I don't know. I don't know who you are from your name right there. So
My brother's
No.
in the Air Force. I just.
Oh, is that your brother?
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe so. Who knows? Hey, the thing is, it doesn't matter what uniform you are. We're all going to pick on each other. I mean, hell, we were sitting here doing it before we got on the live and just talking about different things that are going. Combat control teams. I got you. And where for again? Those guys forefront. They're good. Forward observer type deals like you. That's what your job was. Forward observer, right?
Yeah.
Now, what was your actual MOS?
11 Bravo.
Hey, hoorah!
Fort Benning for boys.
Fort Benning for boys. My daughter is U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant. My dad also a Master Sergeant. My brother USA for over. You done made a bunch of people mad with your Air Force comment. Guys, they're just take it as we would say, taking the piss. I was completely lost on the Combat Controller Team Special Warfare's comment there. Thank you for that. Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, how are you? All right, somebody ask a question. Don't sissy out on me now. Come on, guys. Ask these gentlemen a question. We're all looking at this when we have this huge screen up here in front of us that's got everything on it too. But I think it's a little bit
On delay.
okay, folks. I'm off to much lag. Oh, is it lagging, guys?
The
Is it really lagging for you guys? If it is, we'll try to refresh. Mims's Garden Mama's was in the Air Force. How did you feel after you realized what you have done?
tired.
Let the boys talk more, ELYN said. Tired, yeah. I mean, Danielle, I mean, that's about all you can do in that situation when you're fighting for your life. Okay, it's not lagging. No, not really. Okay, good. Yo, bro, this is Polar Bear. Hey, now I know. That's the SF guy I was talking about. That was with Combat Controller guy. He's the guy that was standing there when Ivan came up. So I didn't know who the heck you were there. The Polar Bear done went incognito. I got you, brother. Yeah, please put your questions in caps. Who are you guys? Roseworks. This is Kyle Knight, and Chris will be back. Chris Jones. They are both members of Red Platoon, and they took part in the battle at Cop Keating, and they're going to refill. There's ice outside in the cooler if you need it, Kyle. The battle at Cop Keating, 52 guys against approximately 400 to 500 Taliban, and they lost seven brothers in the battle, and then eighth brother died due to complications and surgery and stuff. They just released a new movie, The Outpost. There's 2 Medal of Honor winners from this battle that are living Medal of Honor winners, which is a very rare thing. Usually when you get awarded the Medal of Honor, you've sacrificed your life for your brothers and your country, most of all. But their sergeant, platoon sergeant, was Chris Romashaw, and he wrote the book Red Platoon. They said this book is a lot more accurate than the movie The Outpost. So go check it out if you want a little bit more in-depth thing. And the big thing with it, for those of you coming in, was they were in a strategical nightmare where they were put at, and that was just where it is. Chills, absolutely chills. Thank you. I want to see it. Yeah, go watch it. Give that support out to these guys in there. And what they're doing here today is we're doing what we're doing today is just bringing some more light to the guys that didn't make the movie, that aren't being talked about a lot. And one of the biggest things that these guys, I think, would take as much pride in as they would in the battle and defending themselves and their brothers for the honor of their country is the fact that they've lost nobody to suicide.
Yeah.
They've lost not one brother since the battle, and they've come home. And the reason for that is because these 2 men, as well as other members of the platoon, they make fun of each other. But within that making fun, and it, they've got a little saying that if you take your life, we're gonna make fun of you forever. We're gonna haunt you, making fun of you, even though you're one of the ones. Yeah, death is no escape from Red Platoon. Kyle just said. But they reach out, they keep in touch with each other. and they're there for whenever. Chris, I think you told me, Kyle, that Chris is the reason you're in Tennessee, right? You came down this way.
He let me stay at his place while we looked.
Yeah, I mean, and once you come to Tennessee, you're never going to leave because it's the best place on earth. I mean, it's a fact. If any of you guys would ever just visit, you'll never leave. So, you know, they've taken great pride in that. August of next year, they're having their second, I think, reunion, and we're going to help sponsor some of that. If you would like to donate, if you're just coming on, if you'd like to donate to that cause, please don't do it through a super chat. Do it through my PayPal account. Make in the title or the thing, put Red Platoon in the title. And if you can do that and you want to throw, you don't have to, if you want to throw some money to that, I want to make sure it gets to Chris and Kyle, and they're going to take and put that toward food and lodging and everything and getting everybody flown in and doing what they need to do. I've seen several pop up in the corner where there's some stuff already coming through on there, but that will go directly to them. So that's why I'm saying don't do it through the super chat. The super chat takes a percentage as well as other. Do it as friends and family because it's friends and family. You can't get much more than friends and family when you're defending each other's lives as well as this country, this great nation of ours. So my mom says I have to shut up and let you guys talk more. So tell us another story, man. All right, tell me a story from before the battle. Let's hear some of don't remember it's a family friendly show.
Oh, the B-10 story. My B-10 story. That was probably the closest I ever came to just getting smoked.
So Knight gets. I think we were in a TIC, and a TIC stands for Troop in Contact. So we're engaging the enemy, and we're still in contact, but the next guard rotation comes, and they want us to switch.
I got you, Sean.
Guard guys. So it's not Knight's turn, and Knight goes to the ECP. What was it? How many minutes later was it?
I got into the turret, unbuckled my helmet because I'm a dirtbag, lit up a cigarette, and the B-10 like boom, and it just lands.
I heard it, yeah,
directly in front of me, like because you're up where I'm elevated. If I was on the level, it would just smashed me. But it went off. The world went in like black and white, and it was like like a silent movie. Like an old time silent movie. Everything went silent. I'm like, whoa! Like it landed in a crowd of people that were standing outside the gate, just like blood out of their ears, out of their eyes, out of their nose.
I thought he was gone.
Because that's an 82 millimeter shape charge.
Yeah,
it's a big anti-tank gun.
I seen one when I was on guard one time on Stand 2 Truck 2, I think, and I heard oh. I just looked over and I just seen this little black thing with the rocket coming out of it and just hits the mountain right next to it. It was like almost.
Now this is enemy.
Yeah,
fired upon you guys. Yeah. I, when he first said it, I was thinking he was saying that they fired off something. You were just danger close to where you were supposed
we had this big tree in the middle of the cop, and they would shoot because you could arc it. It was subsonic round, so it's like a lobbed weapon. And so they would just aim it at the tree, and it would just land somewhere in the base, and we had no direct line of sight. On the one side.
Sean of Alaska said, if you don't mind, what was the hardest part about coming home after battle?
For me, they separated us. They separated all of us because of what happened to us that day. Sometimes, a lot of the times, you'll go different places, do different jobs. But for the most part, you'll stay. Say I got to Colorado, I'm going to stay there for 4 years. I should stay where I'm at usually. They didn't do that when they separated every single person. Right.
Well, they were kind of trying to whitewash the whole situation.
Yeah, they renamed Black Knight the Bandit Troop.
Yeah.
Bandit Troop.
Now, I'm going to ask this question. I already know the answer, but I want you guys to answer it for them. But one of the things also, if I'm not mistaken, is usually when you go through a battle like that, what's the process after, like immediately after the battle? You guys, and I'm asking this question knowing what I want to hear, but I want to hear what you guys.
Typically, you'd get like a break. We had, they gave us a couple days off, and then we were right back to scrubbing the floor with toothbrushes, and
we got vehicles. And started learning the vehicles because we were doing dismounted patrols.
So we basically went right back to work.
So usually when you're in a large battle like this and stuff, they want you to have a debriefing time. They want you to come down. They don't want you to get completely out of battle mode because you're still fighting. You're still there. But when you have the number of casualties, things of this nature in a small group, especially when it's there, what happens is they give you a little bit of downtime. They want you, I guess, somewhat separated because they want you to be able to do it. But at the same time, you'll usually leave pockets. They didn't leave pockets for you guys. Guys, remember too, the main battle lasted 14, 15 hours, sun up to sundown. But you guys were fighting for 3 or 4 days afterwards still.
Yeah, we went on patrol the next day.
Yeah, they were on patrol, rocking and rolling the next day. And I'm not trying to talk for these guys. I'm just trying to talk in. I know that's what my mom was.
There's a funny story about that. Me and Jones, we've got this always happens. Even when we were in dismounts, they put me and Jones as far away from everybody else as possible. So there's this big S curve in the road. It's a cliff. So if somebody could just walk up this road and come around, and while the rest of the team's down their mule, they leave me and Jones. I just got my AR. I didn't have a radio. And he's got the machine gun. I'm like sitting there, like 100 guys should come around this corner any minute. I have no idea if this. We've never pushed that far in that direction. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, hey Jones, you got any grenades? He's like, I threw them all.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing left, man.
So I mean, this is just telling you guys. Somebody asked, how do you get those images out of your head? Morant, you don't. You don't. What you do is you lean on your brothers, and you lean on other people that you can talk to, and you lean on your family, and you deal with it the best way you can. Correct? Is that probably the best way to answer that? I mean, you never get rid of them. It changes you for the rest of your life. But they did it for me and for you. So that's some comfort. I mean, seriously, if you can't take the comfort in that, I mean, Chris, Kyle, both of you, I mean, if you can't take the understanding to know that when you look at it now, after you've come back, you wouldn't have 2 beautiful sons, you wouldn't have a beautiful daughter, you guys both wouldn't have the wives yet, you wouldn't have the camaraderie and the same camaraderie that you have with your brothers from Red Platoon. If this wouldn't have happened,
we had a boring deployment, I don't think any of us would want to hang out.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah, maybe this guy.
Some of those things when we're talking about that, when you ask a question like that, I mean, it's just, I mean, you don't get by that. So, let's see, how do you get that's the same question. Mims is mad because they made you go back to toothbrushing the floor. If we had Mims over there, she would have whipped every single officer into line in a heartbeat. Generals would have been crying, I promise you. Rose says, thank you, gentlemen, for your service.
How's that?
Yeah, you're sleeping. Somebody was talking about when you were going through and you woke up that you were sleeping. When that happened, when everything happened, you guys were all asleep, and then reacting to what you're doing. So, all right, Chris, throw him under the bus. Tell me a good story about Kyle.
Ooh,
That Kyle would not want us all to know. We want to know a good story about Kyle.
You would always drill me in the face with cigarettes.
Oh yeah. He'd ask me for cigarettes constantly. I don't smoke cigarettes now, but I did back then. And he'd ask me for just a bum guy. And of course, I'd always give you some. And then I just got fed up. I give you one, but I gotta throw it as hard as I can at your face.
Yeah, I mean that didn't take you long to get to that.
No. And this guy would snore like you wouldn't believe. And
he was the tactical disadvantage.
Oh, bro.
We went on a patrol that we stayed overnight as a dismount. And I had to sit with the lieutenant, and every time I'd fall asleep, he'd be like, "Hey, wake up! You're snoring." So I was just up for 3 days. Thanks.
He was like, "Nah, for real, just punch me in the face, because I won't wake up." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yes." And
I got you, Mama Z.
I'll just punch you in the face when you were snoring.
Ugly duckling, your wonderful wife says you still snore, son, honey.
Yeah. Oh, the baby snores.
The baby snores?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. You're in trouble. All right. Mama Z says, how would you take what you learned in the service to everyday life?
Just be ready to kill somebody in the morning.
Be on guard. I mean, and we'll segue
I'll
into
hear
this.
Weird things, and I'll take an AR out in the middle of the night and walk the yard.
Patrol. And so we're gonna go in this, and we talked about this beforehand, and we'll kind of pop back and forth just to give you guys a break. But where do you think, like we're not gonna go way down a political hole, but with everything going on right now, at what stage do you think we're at here right now? I mean, when I say that, I mean, are we looking? I'm trying to word this the right way.
A lot of it's just overhyped by the media.
There you go.
They're trying to get you worked up and afraid with the virus thing and the riot thing. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of.
Don't be afraid of it. Do what you need to do and continue on. And but I do think that I would have never said, but I think we're at that point now. We're never going to be the same. Our country, as far as our constitutional soundness, is never going to be the same. I think, and agree or disagree, that's fine.
Good.
But I think that where we're at today, where we've allowed a very small percentage of our society to be louder than the majority of where we're at, has led to where we're at a point of conflict within our own sovereignty, our own republic, where we're never going to be the same.
It's communist infiltration going back to the Cold War.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's been
communist professors, socialist professors educate the youth. What was it, Yuri Bezmenov? I think he said after give me one generation.
Oh yeah,
he'll just shift the political. Get a hold of the youth, and then you get a hold of the country.
Bye, North Star Prep Center. Thank you.
Socialist boomer.
Well, we do, and here's something I want to point out to you guys too. And I say this only because I want you guys to realize this. Both of these guys fall in the millennial age. 80. When were you born?
88, 84.
So they're both right there. 81. People don't realize millennials are 26 to 40 now. So these are the guys that a lot of us are. When you get to talking, you get people, these millennials and Gen Y and this, that. Guys, these guys are standing up and fought for our country and sacrificed and did everything that they want, or everything they could to protect our sovereignty as a nation. And it's there. And we're not going to go down a political road too much today, but that's a question that I think everybody on here would want to know. As somebody that's been there combat related, what would you tell everybody? Now this would be a good question. That's this homesteading related and prepping related. What would you tell people if they had to make sure that there was 3 staples that they had? What would you tell people they need to have and make sure they got put up?
Water, food, and weaponry.
Water, food, and weaponry.
Ammunition.
And ammunition to go with the weapon. So everything that we talk about when we go through and we're talking about that stuff, I mean, have your stuff, and don't just have 1 or 2 days. Have a week minimum, but preferably 2 or 3 months. Have your food settled. You remember rule 3s. You can live for 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 minutes without oxygen. So the gun keeps you breathing, the food keeps you full, and the water keeps you hydrated. So one of the biggest things in the military is what? Turn that canteen up, drink it down, get it done, get it over. You're in the sandpit. You need to stay hydrated. So snoring a lot. Got a story about my dad snoring in the Philippines. Gary B, you have to tell me that at some time. Please be honest about it. A lot of truth can be found out there if you look hard enough. I think she's talking to someone else in there. Okay. So because you guys are kind of corresponding.
What advice do they have to help women be prepared? Learn to shoot your gun.
Yep. And most women, now both of these guys are avid shooters. I know this, and they can probably agree with me, and I can say this 100%. Most women are better shooters than men because they don't have any bad habits to break. So ladies that are afraid to shoot, you're going to do an amazing job. Don't let your husbands or your boyfriends teach you how to shoot. Go out, take a training course, and learn to shoot. Then go train with your significant other. But your wife was already shooting before she met you, wasn't she?
Well, I'm 22 with her brother.
Yeah, so some basic knowledge. It's very hard. It's very rare to be able to teach your spouse how to shoot if you're trying to be safe and stuff, because a lot of time there's animosity, there's stuff there. So if you raise your voice in a military type manner where we would take it as, okay, it's a safety thing, they're taking it, hey, don't yell at me. So it's a lot easier sometimes to holler up and for Kyle to go, hey, Chris, would you take my wife out and when we go shoot and kind of go through the drill, and him to do vice versa, even though they're both very capable of training.
I just yelled at her.
Yeah, well,
you yelled at her enough.
I know her, and she probably jacked you, didn't she?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to tell.
Oh yeah, my mom is a terrible shot. You hand her a gun and she just goes like this. Like, Mom, you're gonna clobber yourself.
Your son shouldn't either. Ma'am, thank you for raising a good son and a good friend of mine. And I'm hoping that Chris becomes just as good of a friend. We're going to get him on this mountain and let him hunt some deer too if he wants to. So we're going to take care of and have some fun this year. Roseburg then kick some stuff off of there. But yeah, women are natural shooters. I mean, naturally able to do it. Part of that is just, and we've discussed this before, is just structure. You know, most women have breasts. Most bigger guys that are broader shouldered, like all three of us, have a better point of aim, point of impact because we have a natural station to balance our stuff off. Where when you have little skinny people, when they present out, it comes into a lot more fundamentals of being able to control that weapon, other than to be able to present out and have that ability to stabilize themselves in a natural point of aim, point of impact. So tell me a good story about Romesha. Tell me something that like is that you witnessed that may not have made the story, that made the book or whatever. And you seem to have spent more time during the battle with him, but before, on, and after.
I didn't see him that day at all.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah.
It'll be a question towards you.
What was the question again?
About Romesha. Just tell me a story about him. Tell me something. I know we weren't going to really talk about, the main characters of the story, for lack of better words, but
man, I'll tell you. So Romesha's just man, he's a real funny guy. There's so many I could tell right now. I'm trying to think of one not to get him in trouble.
Well, don't get him in trouble.
No.
I'll make it easier on you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the stories about him going up against the upper echelon when they'd come in and trying to get on you guys. How he defended you guys, because I know I've seen that in a lot of stories.
I was completely oblivious to any of that stuff. Like, the NCOs never let it go past them.
Yeah.
Well, certain Joes.
Well, I was intentionally, it's like,
I'll tell you this: we got a new platoon sergeant. They did Romesha dirty, okay, and no one really much cared for this guy. He didn't want to be there with us.
Sergeant Martin.
And
he can't do nothing to you now. Throw those names.
He was a freaking goober. He was a freaking goober.
He come in there but you could tell the difference. So when he comes in, hey guys, slamming this. When Romesha comes in and he starts talking, everybody shuts up and looks at him. Everybody. And when people talk about him, you think he's like 6 foot tall, but how tall is he? He's like one of the shortest guys in the platoon.
5'7", 5'8", something like that. He's a little midget.
He
got you in Ridge Refuge.
He's the leader of our platoon, and he's the smallest one. He's
statue-wise, he's not a big guy. When you look in the pictures, they've got a platoon picture. If you go watch the CNN interview with Romesha, and I think Chris, you were on in that interview, they show a picture of the whole platoon. This goober, I think, standing on the end, because I was like, look at him. But Romesha's standing in front with this like look on his face like this or something, and he's like, I'm short, but I think he may be shorter than I am. I mean, he's just.
If in our platoon you were 6'2" and above, or like 5'8" and below. We had there was no in between.
Yeah. He told me this. I don't even remember it. We were in the ECP. It's getting later, and finally some of the Afghans started to trickle out. It was getting dark. Quit fire. You know what I mean? Not as much, right? So they're like, okay, it's safe, right? They come out there, and there's just a.
That's you, right? Yeah. You want me to show it?
Go.
Here's that picture I was that I was talking about, guys.
On the other side of me.
That's Clint Romesha there. This is Kyle. Where you at?
That's Jones right there, right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle.
Oh, right there's Jones. Whoa, right there's Jonesy.
Over to you. One more. Go. There you go.
That one?
Yeah.
Dude, you lost some weight.
The guy with the helmet is Bunderman. That's Jones right there.
Whoa.
I was like 160 pounds.
Wow.
I weighed 210 when I got there. I weighed 170 when I left.
It was all thighs. Like, your upper body would just shrivel up, and you just had monster legs.
So let me ask what you were doing now and all this. Enriched Refuge, they answered that question a minute ago. They're both fathers. Chris just had his second son 4 days ago. They're rocking and rolling, doing their thing here. Both of them are retired pretty much now, and we all three trading. Being, I think that's one of the things that solidified our relationship after we started doing that was we both love guns and trading and building and having fun, and we all kind of do that and kind of do that. Both of these guys, I'm sure, got retirement and where they're at and what they're doing. Chris got shot in the head like 17 times during the battle. So, I mean, none of them penetrated his helmet, but I'm sure it knocked him silly a little bit. So they're being dads. They're being dads. They're just not single dads. So they're rocking and rolling with that. They both got great wives. I've not met Chris's yet, but this one, he's got a pretty good one sitting there at home. Ugly Duckling is the wife. Hi, Uncle Scott. Uncle Scott is in here. Where's Uncle Scott? Scott, always. Hi, Julian. Okay, he's talking to somebody else. Her Uncle Scott? Scott, always?
Could be. Yeah, that's him.
Okay. So, Ann Walker wants to know, do either one of you guys put out a garden? Where are our homesteading, Jim? We're going to get them too. We're going to get them planting.
Work and do stuff.
Yeah.
Dig around.
Do one next year.
Get all sweaty.
We'll get them on a garden. We'll get them in a garden next year. We'll have them homesteading before they know what it is. Froze?
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 Did the screen freeze?
Are we frozen up?
Wow.
No. Let's see. Yep, we're good up here. We're a little behind on our top screen, but we're looking good on our side. So Anna, no. Thanks for your service. What's your favorite vegetables?
Vegetables, broccoli.
Yeah. Broccoli.
Tomato.
And a tomato.
That's a fruit.
That's a fruit. Do I need to
Take
send the guys special seeds?
It is a fruit, ain't it?
I think we got that covered, man. I think we got that covered. Give them some. They can have as many seeds as they want. They know that.
Sit a gram.
Being a parent is the most important job. Guys, they've already done the most important job that they can, and that's why we gave those Warrior Bibles to them, is because they've had their field manuals. They know what they need to do when it comes hands-on and what they need to do. Now they're in a bigger battle. They got their dads, so now they've got a fight that is a lifetime battle, and it's rewarding. I've been doing it for 7 years now, and how old your oldest? Four. So Chris has been doing that. Kyle's a newbie, so he's learning. I have seeds. Do you have brother? I have seeds. You don't have. Oh, you guys want any special seeds? Miss Mims's garden is offering to go in her stash. Kyle says no. That's work. Ask Ugly Duckling, Mims. Ugly Duckling will tell you if she wants seeds.
We've got some seeds.
Yeah, well, I think I gave you a couple packs, didn't I?
Yeah, some in the basement. The wife will know.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Ugly Duckling can answer that question, Mims. Chris, would you like any special seeds?
I think we got some seeds. We're doing a garden next year, like I said. So we'll
I just emptied that and sent out 120-something packages of seeds with 20-some packs of seeds in it. Wow. The one underneath there is full, and this big wooden box behind me is full of seeds to be sent out. We've been doing that all week, so we've been sending out some seeds.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, this community is amazing. Everybody is greatly supportive of one another. What else do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to make sure that everybody knows about these guys that you served with? And Red Thorn, how long are you guys going to be at Chris's? They can be here every day if they want to be. They both live local, Ken.
Yeah, I'm just up the road.
Yeah. He's in UNICOI and Chris is in the Tri-Cities as well. Ken, Kyle is the gentleman I talked to you that wants to get a holster done and a bandolier done. Show him your new toy. He just picked up a new toy, guys. That is not necessarily a homesteading tool, but is a old, very useful but amazing tool. Oh, describe what we have here.
Well, the guy I got it from is going to be watching.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Possibly. Well, it's a Peabody, Connecticut militia rifle.
Peabody militia rifle. So
It's the action was pretty much copied by Martini Henry. They took the external hammer off.
and what caliber is this in?
45-70.
45-70. I thought that's what it was. I wasn't sure. I knew you got rid of it. Kyle gets rid of guns as quickly as I get rid of guns. So
I'm keeping that one.
he's going to keep this one. He's going to actually take deer with this gun this year.
Right.
Gary B says, yes to parenthood and prayers for your future, guys. There you go. So what are some plans you guys have? Chris, what do you you got anything big that you're looking at doing, or you guys
Yeah, I got a couple things that we're just planning right now. I try not to be that guy that talks about it. I like to be about it. But,
Okay.
I got a couple things lined up. But right now, I think the main thing we're doing is just kind of getting out, talking to gentlemen like yourself, and getting the word out about the guys that served that day and the guys that fallen, and just all that. That's kind of what we're, at least myself, that's what I'm focused on right now.
Right.
Getting the reunion ready.
well, what can we do for you other than we're gonna get up some funds for you guys and stuff to help with the reunion. We know that. What can we do for you as a community that would help you out in that journey? What can we do for you? I know going and buying the book, that helps put out to the guys too. I know Clint's doing some stuff for the guys and the families, right?
Yeah, for the families, absolutely.
For the families of the fallen and things of that nature.
We got a couple ideas. Like one thing we thought about doing during the reunion was having someone videotape it and kind of make like a documentary thing about it. That's one thing we were thinking about doing. But we got like 10 or 15 ideas, so we're just kind of.
We've got plenty of guys on here that do. I shoot videos, and post videos. I don't edit, but there's some people on here. Big Bear Homestead comes to mind at the beginning, who's got a videography background, who's also is a veteran. He's a Marine that I think I could probably reach out to real quick, and we could make that one happen where you could have a professional documentary type deal and voiceover and stuff. And so we might be able to help on that.
That'd be awesome.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I know you guys said you're going to try to do some T-shirts.
Yeah.
So we might have some T-shirts coming out and some hats coming out where we can do it to raise money. Because the big thing is trying to make it not be a burden on all the guys to be able to get back together. Even if you are retired, guys, you know, the amount of money that you receive, if you looked at it overall, it's pittances. It's hard to live sometimes off of military retirement. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's a good retirement, but it's still, you got to hustle out on the side to get stuff done. And when you're trying to do the things they're doing for that community, for their community of Band of Brothers is a big one. So now, Kyle, are you planning on still moving, or are you going to stay in the area? Or?
Oh no, with the way Michigan's going right now, I'll probably wait a few years.
Yeah.
Next.
So I know they're on the same mindset as we are. You guys want to be I don't know. I'm speaking out on my butt now on Chris part of it. But I know with Kyle, they want to get as self-sufficient as you guys can. You've got a pretty nice place, and hunting and fishing and the gardening thing. So that's why we got to get with the ugly duckling and because he's not going to go out there and work in the garden.
Yeah.
He's just not going to do it. He's not gonna. A hunting trip. What's she talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? So, book or movie?
The Red Platoon book, the Outpost book, and the Outpost movie are both a little goofy.
I can tell you right now, I just read the first chapter, and the first chapter has already given me more light than the first 30 minutes of the movie. Now, the movie is an amazing movie. Just to go watch a military movie, you guys got to understand, this is one of the first times in history, guys, this battle and these men have broken so many markers in history that's crazy. One of the biggest battles since Vietnam. The numbers and the odds against them when they fought the battle, astronomical. That I'm gonna steal Clint's words here for a minute, or Romashaw's words here for a minute. He said that it was, and I'm gonna try to quote this as close as I can, but Clint Romashaw said that we had an extraordinary group of ordinary men that were placed in an exceptionally unordinary event. Something of that nature is what he said. So these guys are no different than everybody else. They were just put into a situation where their mettle was tested, and the heat and that what I talked about getting forged in the fire brought out some killing machines. And that's a bad thing to say, but it's true. You got hardened by the fire, and you got put through the ringer. You're there. You did what you had to do.
Well, it was my job, you know.
Yeah.
It was like I said before, if that was your job and that's what you wanted to do, brother, you got every minute of it that day.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, fun, insane, terrifying, all in one, man. And like Romache said one time, you won't find no drug like it a day in your life. Combat.
He did one of the interviews I watched was with him in his full beard and his big mustache. And once again, they've already described the stature of Clint Romeshaw. He's not a big guy, but he's got this big, nice beard, big manly beard, and he's wearing this little rainbow striped bow tie in the interview. and I don't know why, but it caught me there. Y'all can tell if you talk. It caught me so off guard. The first 5 minutes of the interview, I don't think I heard a word he said. Because he's got this little bow tie underneath this big manly beard, and then you're talking, and it's great.
Kind of a hipster.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
So pretty good stuff. So yeah, we're there doing that. We've lost some people. We're up to 38, and 60 people have been on. So we got up to 60. So that's pretty good. Any more questions from you guys, or any more comments that you guys want to make? So Kyle, give us the names of the guys that you guys lost.
From our platoon?
Yeah.
It was Hart, Kirk, Gallegos. Danley got wounded severely enough to have to go back. And
So if you guys watch the movie, and probably from the source from you guys, the whole fight came down to get Mace.
And a light cap platoon, it was only 20 guys, so that's a quarter.
Yeah.
A quarter of our strength.
Yeah. So when you talk about that, you're looking at that as a whole. 52 guys, 52 American soldiers on base, not all combat.
Half of those guys were support dudes.
Yeah, cooks.
And
Which I say mechanics, but mechanics stepped up.
No, that was the generator mechanic.
Yeah. The black dude, right?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Vernon Martin.
Martin. But he stepped up, right? He was there rocking and rolling with y'all, wasn't he?
I think he was going to take a shower or use the bathroom when the ship kicked off. And he jumped in the truck, and then he made a break for it and just took some rounds. And he crawled under the shower trailer, put a tourniquet on, and then they walked up and just tapped him from point blank.
Yeah. So let's see here. There's Big Bear Homestead. Big Bear, we need to talk to you later. We might have a mission for you and Miss Robin. But yeah, so I know I've asked this question now like 3 or 4 times. What else would you like everybody to know? Not necessarily about the battle, but it can be about the battle, but about your mission. I know you're wanting to spread the word about your guys, but is there anything else in that realm that you want to talk about?
I was just Red Platoon's the best.
Red Platoon is the best. Hoorah! And another platoon owes them some cigarettes.
Yeah. You know who you are.
You know, and some DVDs. We're gonna have a throwdown post Cop Keating.
We used to punk second platoon out really bad. We I won't go into details of dropping names, but I used to write a little saying that was making fun of somebody from second platoon that I didn't even know. Never talked to this guy about, but I'd see somebody else that wrote it, and I'd write in blue map marker and they'd scribble it out. And I'd write in blue map marker and they'd scribble it out. And in the MWR right next to the phone.
You just answered a question for some poor dude.
Oh yeah. Well, they were smoking that whole platoon. Like who's going around writing this? I'm thinking, and we're just like, I don't know.
So now all of Red Platoon is going to smoke Kyle
No.
at the next reunion for having all the smoking done.
No,
He's going to be.
Blue Platoon was getting smoked.
Oh,
But we got their entire platoon smoked over stuff.
I thought you were saying your platoon.
No. We got that. We played that one cool.
What advice would you offer to anyone enlisting in the military?
It would depend on what they want to do.
Keep your ass down, you head up.
Yeah, there's a difference of if you're wanting to go in the military. Understand, in my opinion, understand what you're getting into. Chris knew he wanted to be an infantryman.
Yep.
That's what he wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be an infantryman. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. You can ask my mom and them. They knew I was going in the military. When I came home and said I was going in the Marine Corps, my dad looked at me and used the F word and said, "Are you crazy?" Basically, but understood. That's just, you understand that's what you want to do. But if you're wanting to go in the military as far as a career, make sure you look and understand and study what you want to do. And if it's being an infantryman, that's fine.
Don't trust anything your recruiter says.
Exactly. Be prepared when you go in. Find that individual like Chris or Kyle or myself or an uncle that's been in, and have them go with you to listen to what's being said by the recruiter and stuff. It's their job to get you in. So you understand where you're at. Just take it that way. If you want to work on airplanes and helicopters, make sure that your mechanical and your engineering skills are up. So when you take the ASVAB, you're scoring higher on that to get into those jobs.
I was going to be infantry, but my ASVAB score was too high.
He's a smart guy. So
they literally said you're too smart.
You're too smart. We're going to send you out in front of the infantry.
They were pushing. They were pushing for fisters at the time. I did get a pretty nice bonus.
Yeah. It's just be prepared. I think be prepared. Be smart about what you're doing when you're going in. Would you tell anybody not to go?
I have told people not to join just because.
I mean, if you're a dumbass.
Exactly. I've seen people I know
that aren't
like
prepared.
This is not just where I don't want it. I feel bad for them because I'm like, this is going to push you places like I don't think you've even thought of.
Right. You're going to get eaten alive.
Exactly. And I'd hate that for them, but then I'll even tell that to their face. But if you join, just stick with it and don't give up, man.
You got to remember, it's 4 years at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make that commitment, you go no matter what crap hole you get put into. Make strong bonds with your brothers that are around you, because they're the only ones, and these guys can test to it first. They're the only ones that are going to save your ass when it gets to a bad position.
Yep.
Nobody else. It doesn't matter about the upper echelon. It doesn't matter who's up there at the top. It's that platoon sergeant and those men that are surrounding you that are ultimately going to save your life. Am I misspoken on that? But make sure that you do that and keep your head down. Always say their lines. Excellent advice. Yeah. So certain people don't belong in the military.
Yeah, I wouldn't work in a prison. Absolutely not.
Mama Z works in a prison in Texas. Blaze is learning that now. Yeah, Big Bear's son just joined the Marine Corps, 3rd generation. All of them 2nd platoon when they went through. So imagine the hell he went through in boot camp. And Big Bear, being the wonderful man that he is, calls up his recruiter, calls up his drill instructors, and says, "Hey, Blaze is 3rd generation, 2nd platoon, this, that, and the other." And so he had a real good time at boot camp. And Blaze is built like Romashaw. He's a little bitty, short, scrappy dude. So good. He probably had a wonderful time.
They didn't know I existed in basic until I fought expert. I had no, and they're like, "Who is Jones?
What is he? Where did he?
Yeah,
he was in here." Let's go pick on him for
I got pneumonia all through the rifle portion of basic training. So I finally recovered, and they're like, "Okay, qualify." My sights were all rusted on, and my gun jam, like literally the drill sergeant was feeding. Like I would hold the bolt back, he would feed around it, and I'd slam it. It was literally the first thing he did. It took me a couple tries, but I got it.
That's crazy. That is nuts.
I was like, "Oh man, pneumonia's no joke." It was like a hallucination.
Yeah.
Which in this ice cold day.
Yeah. Well, these guys, we've been on almost 2 hours, guys. So if you have any more questions that you wanna ask, Broussards, that's Brett and Amy. Brett is on the fire department. Been on the fire department forever down in Louisiana.
That's something I've been interested in doing.
Firefighting.
Yeah, volunteer fire.
Yeah.
Fun.
UNICOI the UNICOI one right here is looking for people, and they got a good unit, a good group of country folk.
I'm in.
You can still volunteer.
I'm in Carter County.
You can still volunteer. You can still volunteer. Yeah, I think you can.
I think Limestone Cove is the closest one to me.
Yeah. This one down here behind the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I know those guys too.
They're looking for volunteers?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they are. To support the reunion. Yeah. If you guys, once again, if you guys want to support, I'm going to support their next reunion, which is coming up in not this August, but not this August, right? Or the next
Next August.
Next August. We're going to support their next reunion and trying to get these guys together. If you guys would like to kick into that, you can do that through PayPal. Please don't do it through the super chat, because I don't want to take anything away from them. If you want to send it through the PayPal situation, all that and everything will go there. Send it friends and family. But you can make a donation over there, and I'll make sure and ensure I'll keep mentioning it on the lives and stuff on Wednesday night, and we will make sure that that gets to Chris and them, and that those funds are used for food and travel and lodging and beer, I'm sure. And
Got a technical gun question.
Oh, a technical gun question from which one?
Gary B. What's your opinion on 5.56 or moving to a larger military caliber other than 308? Your M4, M16 is a personal defense weapon. The machine guns do all the work.
Yeah. In
contact.
One of your big things you have to realize for personal protection in your home is penetration, and they do make frangible rounds for close quarter combat for the 5.56. It's a brown tip round, but 12 gauge shotgun with number 6 birdshot for in-house. There's nothing you can't take care of within your little home, and then you can step up to your double aught buck and your slugs and stuff for outside too. But to me for a personal defense weapon inside my home, that's going to be my go-to every time. I mean, it's behind the flag. My 12 gauge stays within arm's reach at any time. And I mean, I've got 308, 6 millimeters, 5.56, 7.62 to 30. I've got a bunch of different calibers.
For personal protection, is that for carry, as far as handgun or a rifle for home defense? I prefer an automatic rifle for home protection.
Okay, Pole Bear.
You can never go wrong with a shotgun.
Yeah.
I just don't have one.
Well, you could have had one, but then you told me they were crap, and then came out to find out they're not crap.
Well, I mean, he told me they were crap. So
we were gonna trade on an 870 DM. Not, dude. Hey, Chris. There's one upstairs. You can take it up the road and run it. I'm telling you, maybe I just got a great one. And I'm not an 870 fan. I like Mossbergs. All my other shotguns are mine.
We would just get returns.
Flawless.
I just remember every gun we got returns for. And I'm just like, better stay away from that one.
Stay away from it. Run like crazy. Love me shotgun. Chris, we should enter everyone who donates into a giveaway. I can toss in stuff. TJ, we're going to talk about that. The three of us are going to talk about that after we get off this live. We may do something. I may buy the parts, and then all three of us get together and build out a freedom stick or something, and just have that there. And anybody else that you want to try to get involved with, we'll send the stock or something off and have everybody done, and then maybe sign it.
Laser engrave our signatures on that over at Brookshire. We can
or just do Red Platoon.
Yeah, sign it, scan it, and then have it just lasered onto the receiver.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and do something. Model 97 is what Ken says, but we're going to do something above and beyond what we're going to. I'm seeing all these gun questions and getting done, but we're gonna do something that will bring up some more.
Really, if you got a gun in the house, any sort of gun is really a place to start.
The place to start is knowing how to use it.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Is that an 1897?
Which one?
Model 97?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I like your style, man.
Yeah. Ken is one of my best friends. He's Red Thorn. He's the leather guy, but he brass cast.
Oh, nice.
He makes little cannon rings.
Oh, man.
He's amazing. He's a leather worker, a metalsmith. I mean, anything you think about, that guy can do. And his wife's just as good as he is, and better looking, Ken. But the big thing is if you're talking, I need to see some questions for women. Biggest thing for women is not buying the smallest gun you can buy. small guns are hard for people that are trained to even use. The little small compact 380s and even the 9mm aren't there. Now, when you go into revolvers, your little snub noses and stuff, if you get a full frame gun, they're a little easier to hold on to.
I use a Desert Eagle for
yeah. He's got a Desert Eagle with an aluminum frame. Yeah, he's ready. I need an autographed book, Mims said. You buy the book and send it in. I'm sure I could get these guys to sign it, Mims. They're gonna sign my book in a minute. Can't forget to forget them to do that. But yeah, I don't like the 380 round in a compact gun for anybody. Once you learn to shoot, it's okay to carry as a carry weapon, in my opinion. But that's once you know your fundamentals. You know front sight post. You know how to shoot. You know how to get where you're going.
My wife's pistol was 45.
Yeah. Well, most females, when I'm teaching them to shoot, if I lay out a barrage of guns, they'll always go for the small ones. But by the end of the day, they're carrying the 45 or the 357 shooting 38s.
Yeah.
That's usually the two ways they go because it doesn't recoil as much. Yeah, it's a little heavier, but they find that they enjoy shooting and they actually enjoy.
Yeah, I sold tons of revolvers for women.
Yeah. Well, I think a revolver is great. If you're not familiar with guns, there's no screwing up. Yep. It's simple. Squeeze the trigger, get it done, and you can have trigger work done on them to reduce that trigger pull and things of that nature. So that's a good one. I can do that. Mims is sending me a book to get you guys to sign.
Cool.
Robin has a 45 and a 9. We will be perfect Christmas present for my dad. Okay, cool. Yeah, SKSs and stuff like that's what Chris was talking about. He's gotten onto a kick of buying everyone he can find. Yeah, I can remember I could buy SKSs for $59 to $79.
I wish it was still like that.
But they're a flawless gun.
They are.
There are very few things. It's little spring actions after 500 million rounds,
right?
That you can have. But overall, I mean, you can throw the thing in the bottom of the pond and go grab it and go. I honestly think that Gaston Glock absorbed some of the AK SKS abilities for the Glock, because I hate a Glock, but they are indestructible. The actual 19s and stuff are good guns.
I carry Glock. I've carried Glock for God.
Well, this is why I don't like Glock. I have short, fat hands.
Yeah, I got you.
And going around that square. Now, the new 42 and 43, the small compact, they fit my hand great and feel good. But that square, blocky feel in my short, fat hand. Now, I say that, but I carry the SIG 229 with hoe grips on it, which is bigger in diameter than that, but it's the blockiness, but to go on. And I like the Beretta 92A. I really do. I enjoy that gun. It's just it's a block.
It's hard to. I've been looking for one.
It's hard to find them.
Yeah.
So there's lots of stuff that you can go. Hey, let me ask you this. What do you guys think about me doing a series of videos, maybe with these guys, just videos, and kind of doing it gun talk? Maybe we do some videos, not necessarily on this subject that you're here for tonight, but get together, shoot a couple down, do some reviews on some guns or something like that, and have some fun and do that. I mean, cool. It's not talking to others.
I talk about guns all day.
Yes, we can. Butter, jam. What are you talking about, Big Bear? Oh my goodness. Browning HP, absolutely another great one. All right. Well, guys, we're going to get off here so we can talk and just have some time for ourselves, maybe eat another bowl of deer chili that we made or something of that nature. I know they both had young babies at home that they need to get to. The ugly duckling might make us into an ugly Kyle if he doesn't get home in time. She might be laying down some thunder on him. But thank you guys for coming and supporting these guys. Thank you for supporting me as well. For all of you guys that have already done the PayPal thing, I appreciate that greatly, and we'll get that to them. And any last words from you guys?
I just appreciate y'all's time and tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
God bless. Live with what God gives you. And we're out of here. See you guys. Love y'all. Bye. All right.